Well, here we are again, back in the shop, back on scoops. Today, we're going to work more on the carburetor. In our last episode about timing, mixture, and idle, we adjusted the primary side of the carburetor, but we have not yet looked at the secondary side of the carburetor. I don't know what the secondary spring is in that carburetor. I do remember that it does have the stock metering plate in the back, and that's going to be fine for our purposes, but we want to get that 4-barrel working just a little bit better to create just a little bit more power. So let's take you through the process of how to know what size spring you have, what the RPM band is when those secondaries kick in, and what we're just going to do a bunch of stuff. So let's watch the show intro, and you can get an overview of all the projects we do here, and then I'll see you in 30 seconds on the other side. I'm Mike, and this is MyCar's Shop.
Working out of a 100-year-old refurbished barn, bringing 35 years of experience to projects considered beyond repair. Vision, creativity, and problem solving are essential tools in this place. Watch as we transform junk into polished metal miracles. This is My Car's Shop.
Well, look at all that shiny chrome. Isn't it beautiful? And it runs so much faster now that we have that chrome on there. If you know what I'm talking about, you must have watched the last episode. Alright, so what we're working on today is the vacuum secondary part of the carburetor, which is back here. This is the vacuum secondary diaphragm. This carburetor, I believe, is a 01850. Yes, it is, which means it's a 600 CFM Holley vacuum secondary. It has the stock metering plate in the secondaries, and I'm pretty sure it's going to have the stock spring. I don't think this carburetor's been molested at all. I do notice that my choke cable bracket thing is broken here, but I don't think I'm going to mess with that today. We're just going to pull this off and show you how to tell what size springs they are, and then talk about how to size the correct spring for your secondary for maximum performance. There'll probably be maths involved, just so you know. Now, it's been a while since I've done this, so I don't remember if I have to take the secondary assembly off. I don't think I do. I think I can just pull the 3 screws that hold the top on and get it from there. And I don't know, I may look and see if I have another vacuum secondary assembly. I know I do. I've got a bunch of these Holley Carbs around. So that we can put one on here that has the secondary, or has the choke cable on there. So if I want to hook the manual choke up, we can do that. Because we may want to do that. But I don't know. We'll see. I would have to go upstairs and dig in all of my junk and find my box of scrap Holleys. Should be using a different Phillips. This one's just not quite working well. I should have grabbed my snap-on, but it's working. There we go. Pretty sure that has not been apart. Okay, maybe we do have to take that whole assembly off of there. I didn't remember. No, there it goes. Oh yeah, it's I wonder if it has a screw up from the bottom. I don't remember. It's funny how as you get older, your mind does not retain things like it used to. I'm probably taking off more than I have to, but nothing wrong with that. We're going to pull this choke mechanism out of the way. It should be loose. Everything just seems to be more complicated than it needs to be. Such is life. We could possibly, maybe, put the electric choke on there, maybe. We'll see. We might do that. I have one, I'm sure. Okay. Yeah, there's another screw back there. I can see it. It's under here. That's right. That's why it won't come apart. It should just be those two. Probably the gasket is stuck. No, there's one more there somewhere I'm missing. Something. Well, golly gee, Wally. There it is. Down here. You guys knew that. You just didn't want to tell me. We'll also be able to check that that gasket I was talking about. Right there. And it's okay. This is the one that can shrink sometimes and cause the secondaries to stick open. And this has a rubber O-ring in there, so I think we're okay. All right, so this is our, can you see that? This is our vacuum secondary assembly. So let's take that last screw out of there. And then we'll see what spring is in there. But our prediction is it's going to be the stock spring, which means it's going to be the black spring, which is the stiffest spring. Interesting that there wasn't a clip holding the secondaries. Oh, there we go. There should have been a clip holding this. Oh, interesting. It's got a silver spring in it. I did not expect to see that. So let's go see what this is according to our chart and find out how many CF or what RPM band this one is. I don't see anything about a, yeah, that's the medium spring, which comes in at 2,240 RPM and only opens the secondaries up fully at 8,000. The black one, which is the heavy spring, comes in at 2,700 and is never fully opened. And I don't feel the secondaries really kicking in hard. So if we're at the plain spring right now, 2,200. I'm going to see if we have maybe a purple or a yellow. And we'll see how that works, whether we get too much enrichment or not by kicking that throttle wide open. So I got my box of springs here. And I do have a yellow one. I've got springs I haven't even used yet. Okay, that was my silver one. There's the black one. There's another plain silver one that's way smaller. I had a yellow one there somewhere. I saw it. There's a yellow one right there. I think we'll try the yellow. Yep, that one's yellow right there. So I'll show you this spring once I get it out of my pile. Black. I got a bunch of black ones because I've replaced so many of these over the years. That's a black one there. This is probably a silver one. It's rusty. Another plain one. There's a brown one. Brown is kind of a medium heavy, so that's not what we want. It looks like I only have, oh, there's a blue or a purple. So I do have a purple one there, which is the medium white. Yeah, that's this one. Yeah, I'm not crazy about that. That's a short one. Let's try the yellow one. I'll bring you closer and let you see. Boy, I tell you what, I'm squeezing those. This is the yellow one. Hopefully you can see that yellow. And this is the silver one. And when I'm squeezing it, it actually feels like it's got more resistance, but oh no, it doesn't when I use the same finger. This one's definitely lighter. So the difference between my right and my left hand, but we can throw them on the floor. This engine red lines at around 5,500, and so I am concerned that this is going to be a little bit too much, that it's going to open up too far and it's going to flood out. But we're going to try it. We'll take you for a ride and we'll see how it works. So we're putting this back together. You got to make sure you don't lose that little check ball right there. I think it's kind of swedged in there, but it's stuck. It's not good. It means the secondaries probably weren't working at all. Yep, it was stuck. Better check that. Make sure that's supposed to be in there. I'm not 100% recalling that. I just checked, and not all carburetors have the check ball, so it's there as a bleed off. so that the secondaries don't apply when you don't want them to. So it's just kind of like a little vacuum delay. It doesn't seal 100% from what I read and what I'm remembering now. So we want to leave that in there if the carb's designed with it. Holley's basic guideline is if it had it, leave it in. If it didn't have it, don't put it in, which kind of makes sense. Okay, put our spring in. And we got to line this hole up with where the check ball is, of course, and put this baby back together again. Got to go over and get the screws for that. So we'll get our screws back in. I really prefer them when the plastic hole is bigger so that you don't have to screw it through the plastic, but it is what it is. There we go. Once I got 2 of them in there, we should be good. Obviously, I didn't change that cover out, and that's okay. I've had these kind of slip on me when I'm putting them together, and then the gasket ends up getting kind of root, and the secondaries don't work right. But we'll test it. Maybe not tight yet. It's not. Kind of feels to me like it's leaking. Let's see if we can suck it down. Nope, it's leaking. Got to pull it apart again. I figured the screw caught and tore the diaphragm. So the diaphragm was not in great shape anyway. And I should have remembered this. I forgot about this with these dumb things. These screws tend to thread through the cover, and that causes an issue like this. So what I like to do, rather than having to screw, because you can't feel when it's getting started in the threads, and you can't tell when the gasket gets caught. So I like to just route them out a little bit. I'm just using a file and just kind of going in there just with the square end of the file and routing the holes out in the plastic so the screws are a slip fit, rather than having to screw into the plastic and then screw into the metal, and the odds of that gasket getting caught are pretty significant. And that's what happened. So I should have been paying more attention. But good news is I have another brand new diaphragm, so we're good to go. That's much nicer. That's much nicer. Fits in there nicely. And one more to do. And there's my little check ball. And be careful I don't lose that. Yeah, this is where the piece of diaphragm is, because the screw doesn't want to come back out. Screw gun out of the way here, because I did use the screw gun to take it back apart again. Because I was lazy. I already knew it was foobar, so. Okay, same thing. One more hole to do. Just route that out a little bit so the screws are slip right through nicely. All right, so that one's bad. Store the file on the floor, that'll be fine. Put our little check ball back in. Put our diaphragmatic in here, like so. And this is going to be fun. This diaphragm is kind of distorted and old. Kind of like me. Distorted and old. Well, golly gee, Wally. We'll get it. Those are okay over there. Let's get the screws in there. liking the way that's not lined. There we go. Okay. Now, we got to lift that up. Yeah, that's what I thought. So we got those two are okay, and these two are caught. So I've got to get a screwdriver and just kind of pull these down into place, and then we can put that cover on there. So just going to pull them down into place. There we go. And then try to bring that cover down nice and tight. And I think we got it. So you probably can't see in there, but the gasket is catching just a little bit right there. The screw will catch that down in there. So I'm taking this screwdriver and just kind of running it in there and making sure that that's out of the way. And I think I've got it enough now, and it looks like it's in all the way around. So the joys of Holleys. I know a lot of guys don't like them. I do, because they're so tunable. There we go. That's going in nicely now. And I can see that gasket all the way around. Hopefully I put it in the right way, because I don't think I did. Yep, I did. Yep, I did. Okay, good. I could see it over there. I wasn't sure that I had the hole lined up where it belongs, and I can hear the ball, so we're good. Because there's the vacuum hole is right there. Oh, this is going together so much better with those holes routed out. We got kind of a little issue here again with this one, but let's just run our screwdriver down in there and kind of move that out of the way, I hope, and get this screw down in there maybe. It's so easy for that rubber to catch on that screw and then tear as it goes through. I think we're okay. It's not the greatest design, like I was saying. A lot of guys don't like Holleys, but I do because they're so tunable. It's not that you can't tune other carburetors. As a matter of fact, my senior thesis for my minor, which was in power and transportation technology, from Northern Michigan University, I wrote a paper on how to hot rod a quadrajet carburetor, and the instructor of my automotive program thought that was a very fascinating, interesting thing to do. Yep, I can suck this down now. Boy, it's sticking a little bit more than I would like. I just don't want to go out there and smash the throttle and have it stick. What happened, and I pulled it back apart, I didn't film it because I was concentrating on what was going on. The diaphragm was twisted a little bit and blocking the passage. So I had to take it back apart one more time. I did put just a slight amount of trim adhesive to glue that diaphragm down in place, and now everything's ready to go back together again. So we should be good. Our O-ring is still in place in here, so we're good there. Little coffee. So we just gotta get her in there and get her down in place, and then we'll just stuff. I may have an electric choke. Maybe? And I think I took all the chokes off the GTS. I don't know. We'll find one. And I wouldn't care so much for myself, but if my darling dumpling bride is going to drive this car, I thought it might behoove to have the electric choke on it. All right, let's put this baby in there. Are we having fun yet or not? I don't know. It's just being kind of a thing. It doesn't feel like that's in the right place. Let's get it. Yeah, let's get it. We may have to explore the depths of language again here to figure out what the heck is going on. Okay, well, something's not right because, yeah, that's why. What did I do? I don't think I had it right. There we go. I didn't have it right. Okay, that goes in there, and then that goes in there, and then that goes in there. And you can laugh at me, it's okay. And that's caught because it's not in the proper position. I don't like this. This thing is kind of a pain. Oh, I see what's going on. I think my choke rod fell out of where it belongs into someplace it doesn't belong. There we go. There we go. The sad part of this is we may get this out there on the road and it may just be flooding out the secondaries. But we're working here now. So what the issue was, I had to hold the choke open and then have this all the way forward. Well, not all the way forward, but back behind the lever in there. When I slid that in place so that it could grab that and move that choke. So it was just something I needed to focus and concentrate on. And I'm still going to figure out how to maybe get this hooked up here at some point. Since I don't seem to have an electric choke, I got some ideas that maybe I can zip tie it. I'm not sure. But for now, let's just, yeah, I don't really want that to, it does feel like that thing wants to slip. One step at a time here. Okay, so we're all tightened up and our choke is back open and our vacuum to the carburetor is hooked, or to the, yeah, the thing is hooked up, so we should be good. Well, we'll have to take it for a test drive and see what happens. Obviously, there's not enough vacuum here to pull that secondary open, but I can open. That's just me manually pulling the secondary. Let's take it for a drive. All right, let's see what we got. Like I said, I'm afraid it's going to be flooding it just a little bit, but we'll see. It might not. The main thing is I want to feel what it feels like in the seat of my pants. So yeah, we're just going to go up and down the road here in front of the house. Definitely feel that 4-barrel kick in now. Big time. Yeah, probably, just under 3,000. I could really feel it in the seat of the pants. So, made a difference, definitely. Oh, can't keep the tires from spinning. There it goes. Big time. And it didn't feel in second gear like it was flooding out like I thought it might. So I'll explain that here in just a minute. Let's pull one more pull and see what it does. I almost feel like I could go to one spring lighter. We're going to be heading right into the sun, sorry. It'll be an epic scene here of beauty. Try not to spin, because it sure was spinning hard there a minute ago. Yeah, it's not flooding out. I can feel it kicking in second gear too. And that's the thing you really have to be careful of. So I'll explain that when we get back to the shop. But yeah, I definitely can feel it. It's pulling nicely. think my ignition coil on this is a little weak. I need to get the tack on it also. I don't have a limiter on this, so yeah, that was interesting why that burbled up like that. To do that in second gear than first gear. Definitely breaking up a little bit though. One more and we'll call it quits. Yeah, I need to get a tack on it and see exactly where that. Definitely running it harder than it's ever been run. It's definitely making more power. I can smell everything burning. Breaking up a little in first, as I've said, but I like it. It's definitely pulling harder. I can feel that secondary kicking in. 27, 3,000. I don't know because I don't have a tack on it. Tack's in the back seat. I just got to put it in. There's another project. Smoking on the passenger side. I'm not sure why. It's not oil. Doesn't smell like oil. It may just be that that header tube got hotter than it's ever gotten before because it's making more power. It smells almost like something cooking, like maybe there's a dead mouse on it, but it doesn't smell like that. I don't know. But it's good. It's very good. Coming from down there somewhere. Could be oil. I wonder if that valve cover might be leaking in the corner. I'll have to keep an eye on that. Right down in there maybe. But I was pushing it really hard, so. Okay. So I wanted to explain secondaries and so forth on how they work. So a common mistake in dialing and tuning secondaries is that guys put them so they open as fast as possible, always. And for a street car, most of the time, that's not that big a deal because you're really not in the kitchen at 5,000 plus RPM in second and third gear very much. But it's a common mistake in drag racing that they do that and then they're wondering why they're losing ET. In first gear, you don't notice it because it's through that so quick. It's through that. Let's say that the secondaries come on at 3,000 and they're wide open somewhere between 3,000 and 5,000. Your RPM goes so fast in first gear that the engine doesn't have time to stumble down from the secondaries being open too fast or too much or the jets being wrong. And where you may find it is in second gear. That's usually where those problems show up. Even on a drag car more than in third gear, depending on how it's built, and there's a lot of variables in that. So I'm speaking in generalities. But in second gear, a lot of times you're in that 3,000 to 5,000 RPM band longer. And that's where it could start to actually enrichen and slow the engine down. And you may not even notice it on the plugs because of what it does in first gear, and it's running clean other than that. But it can, and the way you would know that is to have an exhaust gas analyzer on it and watch as you're going down the track and watch that and see if in second gear, when you're getting up 3,000 to 5,000, 6,000, 7,000, wherever, if that thing is actually getting fat and getting rich. It may not show up in third gear if, it could be worse in third gear, but it may not show up in third gear if you're not getting way up in that RPM band again at the end of the trap. So So for example, my GTS is designed to go through the traps at 6,500 at 120 miles an hour. And for those of you that were guessing ET a few episodes ago, the car will run high 11s, low 12s. That's built 120. It should, in an ideal, perfect world, by the numbers, it should be an 1150 car. And that's what it was designed to be. But realistically, I know there's so many other factors in that. High 11s, low 12s is what I expect from that car. So, and we did the numbers and you saw that spinning, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, that car will be almost redlined in third gear going through the traps, was my point. But not everybody's car does that because of their gearing. You may only be going through the traps at 4,000 on an engine that redlines at 7,500. So how much into your secondaries are you at that point? So tuning secondaries is it's kind of a little voodoo science, but it's something to think about as you're tuning your carburetor and how are you using it and so forth. So where that secondary comes in and how long it's open can determine whether or not you even notice that it's maybe running a little fat. Well, thanks for joining us here on another episode of Scoops. I am going to try to figure out where that smoke is coming from. Like I said, it doesn't smell like oil, but I was pushing it really, really hard. So we'll see if it comes back under normal driving, because I'm guessing it's not going to. I did drive it about 20 miles yesterday after we put the valve covers on, and there was no leaks. So I don't think that's the issue, but you never know. So that's the way it goes with these old cars. You've stuck around a long time in this episode, and I appreciate that. And I know that 65 to 70% of you that watch this show aren't subscribed. I would just maybe make a request that you go ahead and smash that subscribe button, hit that bell so you receive notifications. We put out episodes 3 times a week, Tuesdays, Fridays, and Sundays. And there's always something going on. We're going to be back heavy into the fabrication real soon on stitches. I'm sitting here looking at that new frame rail that I made that's in the car, and I'm anxious to get that finished up. We just got to get the other subframe connector in and then get it back on its own wheels so that we can pull the motor and get it on the rotisserie. So anticipate. I'm excited. I'm gaining momentum. The adrenaline's starting to flow. I'm gaining energy, which is the point of doing these smaller projects. Also, if you're interested in more information, you can join us over on Facebook and on Instagram /MyCarShop. That's us. Down in the comments section here, or down in the video description, people have asked about sending me stuff. If you shoot me an email at mycarspage@gmail.com, mykarspage@gmail.com, I can give you shipping information so you can send stuff if you're interested in doing that. And thanks for the offers, guys. I appreciate it. All right. That's going to do it. So there's one more thing, and I just want to mention it to you because it's really important here around the shop. Rock!